Hi, welcome to the Unhealed Healer. I'm Sandra, and this week we're discussing dopamine, stress, and trauma can literally hijack your brain. In particular, I want to discuss a teenager's brain because I've been speaking with my counselor, my therapist, and the topic of when was alcohol, because that was my main use when I started using. When was alcohol introduced into my world? And I know that a particular instance that alcohol was introduced into my world when I was 16 years old by an older man that I was dating at the time. He was 9 years my elder, and I know now that I shouldn't have been dating him. But I was taken out to a club with my friend, and I was introduced to alcohol. And so when you talk about dopamine in a young mind that it's underdeveloped, you're talking about a naturally induced chemical that helps you feel good. It gives you this feeling of pleasure, and the why it's introduced is to help your body get up and do and act and be motivates. And I will discuss a little bit more, maybe in another video, the exact specifics of dopamine. But right now, I want to bring your attention more to how, if you have stress and trauma in your life, and then you introduce a chemical that forces the brain to release 1,000 times more dopamine than it normally would, how this could lead to an addictive personality or an addictive habitual action in a teenager, so such as myself. So I remember that night when I went out with him, I got drunk, and he ended up bringing me to his house. I don't believe anything happened serious that I could remember, but I do know that the next day things were really bad because I had not come home, and he blamed it on me, and we sort of ended paths there. And the fact that he blamed it on me caused more depression in my mind because at that age I could not label what was happening. I couldn't identify what I was experiencing. And this is a result from living a very sheltered life with an overprotective parent. And so I was seeking a way out. And when you're mixing dopamine, stress, and trauma, your mind, your body, your nervous system is in survival mode. You're in survival mode. So when you think about at risk youth, right? Let's say growing up in the projects for me, I am considered an at risk youth at that time. So my behaviors, they were seen as problems, right? But as an at risk youth, I'm not at risk of being pulled into situations, right? That were labeled by others as I should have known better, or it shouldn't have happened, or oh, she's loose, she's very loose, that's why she does that. It is not something that I acted on because of my personality. It's something that I acted on because my nervous system was in survival mode. And when you turn the tables into awareness and knowledge of how this chemical affects your nervous system, when you introduce stress and trauma, then you really see how a child is not the one who needs fixing when there is in this stage. Like this is what I was able to understand in my counseling, that at that point my family thought I needed fixing. They were labeling me as out of control, a person with anger issues, volatile, unfixable. She even tried to she thought I was possessed, and she actually found a priest to give me an assessment as to if I needed an exorcism or not. You can look at it now, and look at it back then and think like, ah ha ha, like giggle about it. But it was serious back then. I mean, my family really thought there was a problem with me, a serious problem with me. And in that state of like, we need to fix her, as a parent, I want you to understand that the child is not reacting to wanting to just act out. They're reacting to the pain they're feeling inside from having a broken environment, a broken home, right? And a broken home could be equal to not having the father at home, or the mother being an alcoholic, or the mother not being around enough. That could be what you would term an a broken home. And so, because of this experience with my mother, and because it was a very unsafe, unstable experience in my home and in my surroundings, where I didn't feel safe, honestly. I did not feel safe living at home, because I always felt like I was going to be attacked or be judged. And so that led to my first suicide attempt when I was 17. And that led to me being put in a psychiatric ward. And being in the psychiatric ward, that experience was even more escalated. That survival mode, right? The stress, the trauma. And I became a complete introvert. And so I came out of that psych ward, but I wasn't the one that was the focal point. It became my mom was the focal point, and she's the one that got the help. She started getting therapy, she started getting her meds, and that's when it was understood that depression and these levels of mental illness ran in my family, right? Because my mother accepted that help, and she began to understand and realize her issues and how they affected us. But the healing started there. And that's what I understood this week in my therapy. Like, wow, I came into this realization. And sharing this with you, I want to bring to mind, I want to bring to awareness how we as a family structure don't truly understand what the problem is until we really dissect what is going on in our brains chemically and in our bodies as well. So, suicide attempts are often a cry from a brain that is in survival mode. And that's one thing to look at and see. And when you look at it that way, you really understand how to help somebody, right? Like, what can we do? What are the steps we need to do to help you step out of survival mode and step more into feeling safe, feeling understood? And I want to leave you guys with this message. Kids in pain don't go looking for danger. Kids in pain don't go looking for danger. They're looking for an escape. That is the message. Kids in pain don't go looking for danger. They're looking for an escape. And we just talked about what that escape is. And in my next video, I want to focus more on dopamine and how drugs affect a brain that is in stress and trauma. And I want to thank you for being here with me, because even as I speak to you, or as I speak this week with my therapists and my counselors, I am just coming more and more in awareness as to what I need to work on in myself, thus the unhealed healer. So I'm grateful to have you on this journey with me. I'm grateful to share these experiences with you, and I hope that you are also receiving a message out of this. All right, guys, let me shut up already. And I'm glad you're here with me, and I'm glad to be here with you. And love you guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Okay.